A rank-damp dungeon serves as our grim opening. There, Rayon's sermon hangs from rusted wall shackles. Enduring sadistic torture, his mangled body leaks crimson onto the cold stone floor. His tormentor is the demonic Lord Sans Parton, the butcher who slaughtered Rayon's noble bloodline. His tragedy is simple. While his kin inherited godlike strength, the youngest prince was born empty. Receiving 0 gifts from his lineage, he is now a persistent bug to the mocking sands. Rayon begs for death's sweet embrace, but the white-haired devil merely scoffs at his muffled cries. Sans ripped out his tongue years ago. Bored of his toy, the Lord prepares to depart. Marking 3 years since the Sermon family fell, the tyrant casually strolls out of the abyss. Left in silence, our prince reels from the fact that 3 hellish years have vanished already. His kin were humanity's shield guarding the Dark Zone's border against a relentless tide of monsters. This sacred duty cemented the Sermons as the mightiest among the continent's 5 great houses. Suddenly, Rayon's father and brothers vanished into thin air, leaving behind a terrifying unanswered void. That disappearance triggered their collapse, giving Sans Parton the perfect opening to strike the killing blow. He employed every foul scheme imaginable to dismantle the family. Amidst the carnage, his true aim lingered. He craved the Sermon's dragon blood, a divine lineage blessing reserved only for the family's true heirs. This blood creates child archmages and 15-year-old swordmasters. It is the ultimate cheat code for power. Yet the ancient demon lord Arkan's curse can completely negate that divine blessing. This rare hex strikes once every few centuries. Unfortunately, Rayon drew the short straw of fate. Denied both steel and sorcery, he sits in the dark, weeping over his utter lack of power. Helplessness let the Partons raise his home. Worse, that Psycho Sans treated him like a lab rat. 3 years of agony have left him too hollow for rage. He feels death's cold hand approaching. He shuts his eyes, ready for the void. But destiny is not finished with our boy just yet. Rayon's eyes snap open. He is shocked to hear a long-dead voice calling him, "Young Master." Confusion washes over him as his loyal maid Colin stands before him alive and perfectly well. Realization hits. He frantically demands a mirror, his heart hammering against his ribs in sheer disbelief. Staring at his youthful reflection, he trembles while asking for the date. Her answer changes everything. His world spins. By some miracle, he has traveled back to when he was only 12 years old. This is not just any year. It is the precise moment the Partons began their treacherous, bloody ascent. Remembering the Golden Lord's promise to grant his wish, the pieces finally click into place. Suddenly, a stern figure enters the room. Colin bows immediately to Alejandro, the Sermon's legendary knight commander. Seeing Rayon's frail state, the commander orders the prince to remain in bed and recover. Colin chimes in with her warnings, but Rayon stuns them both with an unexpected firm response. He declares he is in perfect health and demands to know today's training schedule. Alejandro is speechless. Shocked that the boy is not skipping class, the knight reveals they are focusing strictly on footwork. Doubting his eyes, the knight watches as Rayon grips a training blade with absolute chilling certainty. Armed with a smirk and the brutal experience from his past life, Rayon is finally reborn. He is prepared for any challenge. This is his singular shot to rewrite history and save everyone. It is time to crush that Parton parasite. Checking his status window, Rayon breathes a sigh of relief. His abilities are not garbage. Surprisingly, his double S-rank curse is still active within his system. Alejandro announces that everything is ready. Rayon dismisses his screen and steps out to meet his fate. They arrive at the arena, where a chained goblin shrieks like a manic, bloodthirsty beast. The creature lunges only to be snapped back by iron links. The atmosphere turns heavy with dread. Colin panics, begging the commander to halt this insanity given the prince's fragile health. Rayon appreciates her concern, but he is already locked in. Today, everything changes for the youngest prince. He knows his path. Suddenly, system warnings flash. Arkan's curse is beginning to stir once more. It is the same hex warping monsters into his worst nightmares. One glance at the status window reveals the chilling truth. Steeling his nerves with a heavy breath, he ignores Alejandro's suggestion to rest. Ryun is not even warmed up yet. He lunges, but the goblin is faster. A jagged claw narrowly misses him, sending him skidding back in pure terror. Gritting his teeth, he berates his own cowardice. It is just a single, pathetic, and foul-smelling monster. Fear has no place here. A smirk creeps across his face because this creature is not even in the same league. It is nothing compared to the crushing weight of the Lord in Ideon. That aura alone had paralyzed him completely. This weakling is just a minor warm-up. He raises his blade high, casting a long shadow over his prey. He brings the steel down with a sickening crack. The Knight Commander and Colin stand there absolutely stunned. Jaws drop as the system pings again. He has successfully resisted the curse, finally shattering its iron grip on his soul. He gazes at the fractured blade and the trembling monster. Then another urgent notification flashes before his eyes. The fear is gone, completely erased. After a silent moment of realization, he locks eyes with Alejandro. He demands a real sword. The commander wavers, while Colin looks like he is about to see a ghost. Ryun flashes a sharp, confident grin. The veteran knight actually flushes, sensing a massive shift in the air. The young master is finally radiating pure dominance. The goblin begins whimpering. The second Ryun's gaze lands on it. Sensing the inevitable end, Ryun strikes without mercy, ending the beast's life in one fluid and clean motion. Alejandro whispers for Colin to pay attention. They are witnessing the legendary rebirth of House Sermon's future leader. After the slaughter, Ryun splashes freezing water on his face. He stares intensely at the stranger in the mirror. A wave of relief washes over him. The system actually worked. He slams his fists against the porcelain in triumph. His blood pumps with excitement at his untapped potential. But then reality hits, and his expression darkens instantly. This experience gain is pathetic. At this rate, he would have to slay 1,000,000 goblins just to level up. He needs more power, and he needs it now. The clock is ticking before disaster strikes House Sermon. But one thing is certain, the curse can be broken. He stares at the glowing interface with renewed fire. This is his only shot, and he won't blow it. Currently, the state of House Sermon is a total mess. His family has been missing for 2 years. Despite his weakness, his title keeps the vultures at bay for now. Suddenly, he punches the air in a fit of pure and unadulterated hype. He finally found the path to ascension. It is time to take the next step in his evolution. It is time to unlock the second method. The scene shifts to a mysterious masked woman draped in crimson silk. She glides through the manor doors for tea. Word of his recent monster hunt has already reached her ears. She offers a knowing smile, asking if he is ready for magic training. This is Sina, the enigmatic mage. As head of the magic division, she is a 7th-rank powerhouse with skills that defy logic. Her past is a total mystery to everyone but the clan leader. She sets her tea down, getting serious. She warns him not to get cocky. Magic is no playground. She had always refused him because he lacked talent. Ryun just smirks. He knew the truth. The curse had completely severed his connection to the world's mana. Using magic was impossible until yesterday. Now he meets her gaze with absolute and unwavering confidence. He claims he can finally feel the mana flow. Sina's composure cracks, her eyes widening in genuine shock. To test him, she weaves a majestic dragon out of flickering flames, telling him to open his eyes slowly. She challenges him to identify the complex magical construct she just manifested in the air between them. She is left speechless when he identifies it instantly. No hesitation, no doubt, just the perfect and immediate answer. It is impossible. How could a talentless boy suddenly awaken such high-level mana perception in a single night? Identifying her magic means his understanding of mana might actually rival her own mastery. It is terrifying. She paces the room in a panic, trying to process his impossible growth. But Ryun is not finished yet. He admits his current sight is practically useless. He can see the mana, but he is still powerless. He cannot use the family cultivation techniques yet, so he needs her help to break through the wall. She is stunned. To do that, she would have to manually circulate her own volatile magic through his empty circuits. She delivers a grim warning. One mistake and her raw power will incinerate him from the inside out. The prince shrugs, claiming he's already so fragile that she could end him in a single blow regardless. Truth is, she's the only soul he trusts with his very existence. In his previous life, Sena remained his loyal shadow, shielding him with her own body until her final breath. With her mana drained, he reaches out once more, confessing that she's his only hope. Risking everything, he places his life in her hands, as Sena ignites the legendary Blue Earth secret art. This ancient Sherman family technique is lethal, and she fears his young body cannot handle the strain yet. But he has already mastered these flows back in Adian. She readies herself, demanding his absolute concentration. He is stepping into a literal hellscape. She warns him that once it begins, tears and screams are useless. The only escape is to scream stop with his entire soul. Suddenly, jagged memories flood his mind. The horrific torture Sans inflicted flashes back after surviving that nightmare. Nothing in this world can break him. Calmly, he reinforces his absolute faith in her, urging her to unleash her full power without hesitation. She finally relents, flooding him with raw mana, which instantly triggers Arcane's devastating curse. Energy leaks out as fast as it enters, yet he maintains a godlike grip on every swirling spark. The curse tries to detonate the magic from within, but he channels that explosive force with lethal precision. He has found a glitch in the curse. Sena watches in disbelief as not a single drop of mana escapes. Ryun grinds his teeth, pushing through the agony even as his veins feel like they are about to shatter. He does not flinch. Every near-death struggle in Adion prepared him for this exact moment of suffering. In that demonic realm, he ascended as the ultimate human mage. Even across the shifting timelines, every divine technique remains burned into his soul. With a sudden surge, he devours the energy whole. Sena cuts the flow instantly. Ryun hits the floor, his body contorting from the sheer intensity of the backlash. Yet this agony is child's play, compared to the hellish human experiments Sans's butchers once performed on him. Their research was a fate worse than death. Then amidst one of those dark nights, a shadow appeared. A black-robed figure tore through the guards, and a masked savior dragged him from that blood-stained basement. Despite his own heavy wounds, it was Alejandro who had risked everything to pull Rayun from the brink. The commander's voice cracked as he apologized for failing to stop those white-coated monsters sooner. Even broken and scarred, Rayun felt a wave of gratitude just to reunite with him after 3 years in hell. But their salvation was cut short. Paxton's assassins emerged, raining a lethal volley of arrows into his savior's back. Haunted by the memory, Rayun jolts awake, tears blurring his vision, but a smirk forms. The experiment was a success. The nightmare left a bitter taste, but he hardens his resolve. This power will be his ultimate weapon. He vows that this timeline will not end in blood. Despite his newfound strength, he chooses the path of shadows. His explosive growth must remain a secret. The Paxtons cannot know their prey has grown claws. Ensuring they cannot meddle, he begins weaving a web to dismantle the Sherman family's foes from within. Moving way ahead of Destiny's clock, he strikes before the Paxtons even realize the game has changed. Later, he acts confused. He casually announces that the cultivation was a total bust. Both Sena and Alejandro stand paralyzed in shock. Confused by his words, they search for answers, but Rayun decides to bury the truth deep for now. Normally, he would never deceive his closest allies, but this secret is a burden he must carry alone. Explaining the truth would only invite chaos. He flexes his fingers, lying through his teeth about giving it his all. He claims he cannot feel a single pulse of mana. He even invites Sena to verify the failure herself. She does not hesitate, stepping forward to cast a high-level mana detection spell on him. She grips his hand, channeling her own energy, only to recoil in utter disbelief at the result. While he maintains a mask of calm, she pulls away, confirming that his mana circuits appear completely hollow. Her voice trembles with confusion. She was certain his potential was awakening just 24 hours ago. Crushed by the news, a devastated Sena retreats. Rayun watches her go, a silent apology in his eyes. Alejandro turns to him, mentioning their scheduled night training, but our hero just offers a sheepish grin. He claims he cannot do that too. Fast forward 2 months, and Colin bursts into the room drenched in tears. Another day and the door remains shut. With the men of the house vanished, the Duchess shoulders every burden alone. She's the only thing keeping this place afloat, but she's hitting her breaking point. Colin retreats to the kitchen, defeated. Still hiding in his room, the staff whispers. The butler lets out a heavy, weary sigh before answering. It's been 3 months since his last goblin kill. Now he won't even give Alejandro the time of day. A maid snickers, muttering that flying too close to the sun always leads to a devastating crash and burn. She claims he's a lost cause. Colin snaps back instantly, refusing to let them drag the young master's name through the dirt. He fought his heart out that day, but Colin's fire wilts the moment they mutter that cruel old nickname. The Sermon family's jinx. Out in the city, the rumors have evolved into something even more toxic and poisonous. The useless trash of the Sermons. Hearing the insult, his loyal maid jumps to his defense, silencing the gossiping man. He's only 12, she cries. But the butler reminds her that for nobles, reputation is their only currency. The staff is jumping ship one by one. Even the butler admits he's looking for the nearest exit very soon. He asks Colin if she's staying, but silence is her only answer. Cut to Ryan calmly, enjoying his meal. The food quality is tanking, a clear sign that chaos is brewing. He wears a devilish smirk at the realization. Everything is moving exactly as calculated. The old pathetic version of himself would have crumbled under this weight. He would have desperately tried to save a sinking ship until he withered. But this new version, he's built different. He'll play the weakling, luring his enemies into a false sense of security. Then he'll wait for that perfect opening. When he strikes, it will be a total bloodbath. He remembers the family's rot started the day his father vanished. The search parties never returned. His brothers disappeared next, and the family's wealth slowly bled dry until nothing remained. The once bustling training grounds are now a graveyard for weaklings. Former allies didn't waste a heartbeat cutting ties. They treated the family like a plague and walked away. Yet Ryu couldn't care less about their petty social games. This silence is the ultimate cover for his secret grind. Still, the family's decline is moving way too slowly. He wants to accelerate the chaos. Suddenly, Colin kicks the door down, shattering his dark train of thought instantly. Training starts now. The commander is waiting. His cool edge vanishes, replaced by pure, unadulterated annoyance. Pass, he groans. But Colin isn't playing, ripping the blankets away with zero hesitation or mercy. With eyes of steel, she scoops him up like a child. No arguments allowed as she hauls him out. She's ride or die for this house. Meanwhile, our MC is literally just enjoying the free Uber to the training arena. Alejandro is fuming over his pathetic swordplay. He barks that even a toddler could swing a blade with more conviction. Rayun sighs. The old man's loyalty is stubborn. One day he'll repay it, but his secrets must remain hidden. No one can know about his private hellish training. He's even burning mana on a transformation skill to mask his physique. It disguises his true strength, though his mastery is still shaky. Suddenly, a system notification blinks to life. Stamina up. His eyes widen. Dropping a quick bathroom excuse, he bolts before the commander can even blink. Alejandro is left scratching his head. Ryu stares into a mirror, realizing his disguise flickers when he moves too fast. Speed breaks the illusion. He checks his status window, and a grin spreads across his face. The grind was worth it. Level 20 is within reach. He's aiming for that ghost class, just like his legendary run in the Gulag. Multiclassing is the endgame, but his focus shifts as he spots Alejandro locked in a serious, hushed conversation. An unexpected guest. It's Truno, the family's top manager, looking like he just stepped into a nightmare. Truno bows low, offering a mysterious scroll. Rayon senses the atmosphere shift. This isn't just a regular status report. For once, the timeline is holding steady. Alejandro's grim face says it all. He knows exactly what that letter contains. Our hero unfurls the parchment. An official invitation from Prince Kyle of the Darren Kingdom for his royal birthday gala. A royal summons. The young master smirks. The final piece of his master plan just clicked into place. It's showtime. Our protagonist begins his journey to the palace, though he's still mostly stuck in dreamland. He's half-conscious after Colin spent the entire night treating him like a high-fashion doll for the party. She begged to tag along, but the retainers stay behind. Even his heavy hitters are unavailable for this trip. Alejandro was deployed to crush a surprise monster horde at the border. The timing is incredibly suspicious. Even Sena had to bolt, summoned home by a strict, urgent order from her mother. He's flying solo. A socially awkward 12-year-old now carries the entire weight of the Cernon legacy alone. Truno promises there is no threat, betting the Darrens aren't reckless enough to start trouble. But Rion knows that safety died with his family's prestige. In the old days, they'd just send a lowly servant to these mid-parties, but everything has changed. Now our young master must personally face the music as the official house head. He takes it in stride, still carrying the guilt of his family's massive downfall. Hours later, his carriage arrives at the Darren estate to a full maid squad greeting. Truno handles the PR, but Rion can feel every judgmental eye locked onto him. Walking through the hall, he overhears the spicy rumors surrounding his family's epic collapse. Our prince just smirks. He already predicted this entire script from the very beginning. He doubles down on the act, greeting the elite with zero class or dignity. That cringe-tier move leaves the entire room disappointed. Later, during the private dinner, a guard is shocked. The young prince hasn't left his room in 5 straight days. Arriving early was for networking, but the captain tells him to lower his expectations. He recalls the absolute train wreck of a performance Rion gave at the reception. He can't believe the kid is passing up on this top-tier rich people buffet. The place has everything: gourmet food and elite noble ladies. Right then, a messenger arrives, ordering the squad to gear up for the young master's entrance. The guards celebrate, hyped for the perks, while being told to keep their reports clean. They've got to bury the prince's fails, while Rion has been low-key grinding in secret. Bribing the guards with the banquet was just a cover for his actual master plan. Tonight is the night his ultimate nemesis finally steps into the Darren Manor. The chatter dies instantly when Lord Sands walks in, radiating pure main villain energy. Everyone avoids eye contact, but Sands heads straight for Truno, without a second thought. Trapped, Truno starts glazing him, calling the meeting a massive honor to his face. Sands doesn't play around, demanding to see the legendary Rion Cernon immediately. Truno plays dumb, so Sands decides to speak slowly for the clueless servant. He calls Rion the Cernon family's biggest mistake. Truno is visibly shaken by the disrespect. Sands is a genius mage under huge pressure, but trash-talking a lord here is bold. Insulting the Cernon head in Darren territory is basically a declaration of war. Then Sands pulls an Uno reverse, claiming he's actually here to save Rion's reputation. Truno isn't falling for it. He knows he's talking to the continent's biggest scumbag. Rumor says Sands was already hitting the bottle by the age of 7. He even caught a body among his own people. Suddenly, Rion makes his grand entrance. Sands is hyped while Truno is having a stroke over Rion's terrible timing. Rion's aura is so majestic that the entire room gets instant whiplash. People are actually second-guessing the rumors, which makes Sands absolutely seethe with jealousy. Our boy is totally outshining him, so Sands marches right up to Rion's face. Rion claims he's heard all the tea about Sands from his brother, Prince Lars. Sands tries to act smug, but Rion cuts him off, calling him a truly kind soul. He mentions Sands' fame at the academy and his tragic early departure. Rion flips the script, framing Sands' dark past as acts of pure heroism. He paints the thug as a savior of the weak. Sands is literally boiling inside. Rion prepares the finishing move by mentioning a knee, forcing Truno to panic, save the vibe. Truno lies through his teeth, claiming Sands brought medicine for Lars's injured knee. He hauls the prince away before the situation detonates. Our MC feels smug after totally roasting that white-haired loser. Sands views those savage insults as an official declaration of war. But fueling his burning hatred was merely phase 2 of the master plan. Alone in his room, Sands snaps, smashing a flower pot in pure fury. Rage boils over as he screams profanities at our hero, replaying their conversation in his twisted mind. He realizes Lars definitely figured out the truth. He didn't just leave the academy. He was actually expelled. Gripping his hair, he seethes that all his efforts to bury that scandal were a total waste of time. The mention of his knees haunts him. He swears the dark truth of that moment must stay buried forever. A memory strikes. He's gasping for air, desperately trying to keep a straight face while his world crumbles. Lightning crackles around Lars as he warns the noble he's finally crossed the line. Sans stammers out pathetic excuses, whining that he had no idea the girl was his partner. He was just greeting a lowly commoner. Ryun's brother remains icy, reminding him that at this academy, everyone is simply a student, noble or not. He barks a command to kneel. Lars warns that unless he offers a sincere apology right now, the Parton family will be erased and he'll personally finish him off. Sans drops, shattered by the absolute humiliation. With Lars's lightning still buzzing in his mind, Sans jolts back to the present and lets out a guttural scream. He vows to push forward with his scheme. No matter the cost, he'll silence Ryun's brother for good. Finally chilling out, he convinces himself that his ultimate revenge against Ryun is only a matter of time. A sudden knock shatters his train of thought. He grunts for them to enter as a mysterious figure appears. Sans raises an eyebrow, genuinely amused by the unexpected visitor. It's none other than Truno Hilda standing there. Fast forward to after the prince's gala. Heading home, our hero reflects on hitting every single one of his goals. He played the nobles perfectly, but what really salts the deal is how he absolutely broke Sans. The guy fell for the rage bait in record time. Truno chimes in, praising his flawless performance at the banquet. He claims the young master's actions finally gave him real hope for the future of their noble house. Ryun shuts him down instantly, noting he made zero connections and basically started a war with House Parton. The manager pivots fast, declaring that the way he checked Sans was honestly nothing short of legendary. Our hero smirks and hits a hidden button. Truno's face goes pale as he asks what's happening. He stammers, asking why the young master just triggered a soundproof spell. Ryun doesn't hold back, stating that if he actually had hope, he wouldn't have sold out the family. Truno breaks into a cold sweat. He fumbles for words, but our boy reveals he knows everything. His crime is deadly, yet he's offering mercy. Since his motives were for the house, the manager bows his head, whispering, "How did you find out?" Our hero presents a life-altering choice. He tells the man to be his own judge, just like before. As the carriage thunders down the road, Ryun finally unveils the secret master plan he's been cooking up. The manager is floored, staring at the boy in shock. He can't fathom how a kid could conceive this. Tears stream down his face as he buries it in his hands. The sheer brilliance of the plan overwhelms him. He wants to scream with pride from the rooftops. Ryun nods, pleased that the manager chose the right side. They've already cleared the capital gates. Truno gazes at him, baffled by how the boy remains so ice-cold. Seeing the danger ahead, he realizes that isn't a smile on the master's lips, it's pure, lethal bloodlust. Suddenly, the carriage screeches to a violent halt. The knight guarding the side barks orders to the driver, only to find him slumped over dead. An arrow whistles past his ear, nearly taking his head off. Ambush, a knight roars, commanding the unit to form a perimeter. He warns them about the incoming poison arrows. Mages instantly weave a mana shield to block the toxic projectiles. The captain steps up, taking full command. He deflects the arrows with ease, daring the cowards to show their faces. But another knight senses something wrong. He screams a warning to the captain. Even for an ally, the carriage has become a massive red flag. The carriage is empty. Confusion grips the guards as they realize Ryun has been snatched right under their noses. A mysterious figure is hauling him away on horseback. Meanwhile, our hero calmly tracks the passing time. He recalls his past life's kidnapping, how his family wasted everything trying to find him. This time, it's different. This triggered the Sermon family's ruin. But armed with future knowledge, Ryun is dead set on rewriting destiny. Reborn and ruthless, he didn't lift a finger to save his kin. He knew other nobles would hunt him down. This was all part of his master plan. He's playing the ultimate loser card. But unlike others, the Parton family doesn't just target the powerful elites. He was certain they'd eventually hunt him. Luckily, Sans Parton, the family's heir, has walked straight into his snare. He'll surely strike during the trek back to the capital. Our protagonist was ready, using Truno, a Parton family plant, as his own pawn. They came for an abduction. Slumped behind Truno on horseback, Ryun whispers for him to stick to the script. Do this, and he's forgiven. Meanwhile, our boy's been grinding hard, finally hitting level 20. Truno arrives at the drop-off point, ready to deliver our hero, who's perfectly faking a knockout. He surrenders him to Sans. Secretly, Truno is the Sermon family's manager, who sold out to the Partons. He traded the young master away. Despite Ryun's intervention, Sans believes Truno is still their loyal dog. Following their shady deal, Sans coughs up the classified intel Truno demanded. Stolen from Asan family spies, it's legit. Sensing Truno's doubt, Sans boasts that, despite their nobility in Drea, selling secrets is their true hustle. He hands over the files. These papers list every witness to the Sermon family's high-stakes mission. Ryun finally clocks why Truno betrayed him. To Truno, Ryun was just a worthless failure, a burden to their noble blood. Only his older brothers have the grit to reclaim their glory. Truno needs them back. He knew the Asans held the key, but couldn't snatch it alone, so he manipulated the Partons instead. As he departs, Truno begs Sans to keep his word and return the young master unharmed to the sermons. With Truno gone, Sans's crew looms over our hero, a lackey asking if they should finish him. Sans scoffs no need. His own family will discard him once they brand him the true traitor. Sans heads back to execute the grand scheme. Moments later, our protagonist finally opens his eyes. Bound by heavy chains, Rian faces a smirking Sans who's busy clowning on his miserable state. A true sermon heir, Rian plays dumb despite knowing exactly what's going down. He asks why he's here. When Sans brags about the kidnapping, our hero drops a cold warning. Thinking Rian's just a joke, Sans just laughs in his face. Sans boots Rian in the face, taunting that his family is likely cooked by now. He reveals Truno traded him for dirt on the witnesses who saw his brothers get snatched. All to find them, while Rian, the family disappointment, was left to rot. He declares war, barking that this little abduction is just the opening act of their destruction. Rian's gaze turns icy as he ignites a magic circle, leaving Sans absolutely speechless. Even in chains, Rian growls that he's been dreaming of this day since his resurrection. Green light floods the room, but when nothing hits, Sans goes back to talking trash. Big mistake. Rian drops a silent circle, instantly muting Sans's arrogant yapping. No chant, no magic. Panic-stricken Sans desperately retaliates with a silent firebolt strike. Instant cast magic. Rian's only alive because the Parton patriarch wants him as a bargaining chip. Sans unleashes second circle magic, exactly what Rian predicted. But the fool just played himself. Sans aims for Rian's leg to avoid his father's wrath. After sizing him up, Rian triggers mana interference, rendering every single one of Sans's attacks completely useless. Desperate, Sans lunges with a dagger, only for Rian to shatter his chains like glass. Child's play. Our hero snaps a paralyzed spell, knocking Sans out cold instantly. Sans rouses later, only to find the tables turned. He's chained while Rian twirls a blade. Snickering, Sans thinks these are just basic chains. He tries to flex his way out, thinking it's easy. High-voltage agony surges through his veins as he collapses. Rayon stalks towards Sans like a predator. "I've etched the circuits directly into my skin," Rayon whispers. "It's a taboo, art carving magic into living meat. Fresh blood ignites the runes. This is the exact hell Rayon endured in his previous life. They used wakefulness magic to keep him conscious through every agonizing slice. No sleep, just pure, unadulterated torment." Sans trembles, baffled. "How? You're a monolith loser," he screams, clutching his fading hope. But Rayon isn't just lucky. He's a veteran using his past life's trauma as a blueprint for revenge. Fueled by mana pills, he spent the last 3 months grinding skills like a man possessed. He mastered the Adian secret, the truth that every ability is just a circuit waiting to be sparked. Every player has a unique internal map. Injecting mana into the right path is the key to god-tier power. Only top-tier masters understand these hidden flows. Armed with this forbidden knowledge, skill acquisition was a breeze this time around. Rayon even scouted this lair weeks ago, mapping every corner. He memorized the layout to ensure Sans couldn't escape his grasp. Now the magic circle binding the villain was originally meant for Rayon, but tables have turned. It's time for Sans to taste his own medicine. Satisfied with the screams, Rayon turns to leave. Sans begs him to stay, but Rayon just scoffs. "I'll be gone long before your family arrives in 7 days, Rayon mocks. Sans's jaw drops. How could he know? "I heard you dismiss your servants for a week, genius," Rayon retorts. Exposed and desperate, Sans bluffs, claiming his men are right outside, but Rayon sees right through the pathetic facade. If help were coming, Sans would be stalling, not begging Rayon to run. The math doesn't add up. He'd want Rayon caught and killed. Despite Sans's desperate lies, Rayon simply walks out, promising to return for more fun tomorrow. The countdown to the Parton family's arrival begins. 1 week later, a squad of Parton enforcers gathers outside the secret hideout. The commander barks orders, demanding to know if anyone has seen their young master. "Total radio silence, sir, but we've watched every exit like hawks a scout reports." The leader storms inside. Orders from the top are clear: retrieve the sermon brat immediately. He waves his men back, descending into the dark basement alone. Something feels off. He trips a hidden rune, and a blast of raw energy erupts. He barely deploys a barrier in time. This isn't standard security. Fear pricks his skin. Sans is in serious trouble. He scans the room, seeing a spiderweb of complex, lethal traps. Who the hell designed this? Bracing with double-layered shields, he pushes forward to find the mastermind. He bursts into the inner sanctum, and finds Sans suspended by rusted chains, dripping blood onto the cold stone floor. He shatters the shackles. "Who did this?" he roars, but Sans can only wheeze. Nearby, Rayon sits slumped in a corner. Bound and seemingly broken, Sans begs for a potion, but the leader prioritizes an immediate retreat. The air is thick with danger, and the culprit is nowhere to be seen. Why would they leave? Why leave the sermon boy behind? It feels like a trap. Or something far more sinister. Sans finally rasps out the truth. It was Rayon. He's the monster. But Rayon just stays still, playing the part of the unconscious victim. As the leader prepares to strike, the real Rayon emerges from the shadows. Nice decoy, right? Rayon sneers, dropping the illusion. He lunges forward, demanding the Archmage's full attention. Sparks fly as steel meets sorcery in a high-speed clash of titans. They trade devastating blows, until the Archmage lands a crushing strike. Rayon coughs up blood and hits the floor hard. I can't kill you yet, the man growls over Rayon's broken body, but I'll make you envy Sans's pain. Suddenly, Sans's corpse lunges, driving a dagger deep into the man's throat. Rayon had shifted his consciousness. Utilizing the legendary soul transfer art, the beauty of this forbidden skill, he can pilot both bodies simultaneously. This is Rayon's ultimate trump card. The Archmage falls lifeless. Rayon chugs a healing elixir, his wounds closing instantly. He smirks at the corpse. He just soloed a high-level Archmage. Suddenly, the system ping rings out in his head. Level 15 reached, quest complete. But Rayon's still reeling from how fast his stats are climbing. Priorities first. Rayon drags the Archmage's lifeless husk into a hidden chamber to begin his real work. The body hits the bed. Since the soul circuit is active, mana still flows through Sans's borrowed form. By burning through his mana reserves, our boy is intentionally tanking his level for a tactical reset. He's hunting the Shadow Assassin class. After a tense struggle, Rayon locks in the hidden job requirements. 2 shots left. Clutching the second attempt, he secures another victory in this high-stakes level manipulation. Winning wasn't enough. With the Archmage down, Rayon pushes his luck, aiming for a forbidden third advancement. His target, the legendary Ghost class. The same god-tier job that made Adion an absolute monster. He's locked in despite the massive soul size requirement. One wrong move and his spirit could shatter completely. No hesitation. Rayon dives headfirst into the third advancement, betting everything on this final gamble. Sacrificing bits of his soul, the struggle pays off. The system chime rings out with the result. Anxiety grips him as the notification loads. Boom. Another impossible success added to his resume. He's now a phantom-level ghost. This tier is completely unheard of even to a pro like Rayon. He assumes it scales like the standard ghost class. With the setup complete, it's time for business. The Archmage's death was just a stepping stone. Phase 1 of his master plan is officially greenlit. Ghost job buffs are kicking in. Now Rayon triggers Lich creation, ready to build his own undead army. Usually you'd need level 70 necromancy. The ritual fails, but the system triggers a rare hidden evolution instead. A mist gathers, and suddenly, a mysterious humanoid figure stands before him. This isn't your average zombie. The system prompts for a name just as a massive blast rocks the building, shaking the foundation. The guards scramble as Rayon, still wearing Sans's face, strides out into the chaos. Carrying his own corpse, he spins a lie. The Archmage betrayed them all, turning the place into a tomb. He claims an artifact is barely holding the traitor back. Run, he screams, urging the subordinates to flee. Mounting his steed, he barks orders to keep the traitor pinned while he returns Rayon home. He promises gold for their loyalty, then vanishes into the horizon. They have no idea they've been played. That was the last time any of them would see the Parton family's young master alive. At Parton HQ, Pharaohs, the 7-circle heavyweight, demands answers. No one can find the missing Archmage. To keep the kidnapping quiet, Pharaohs silences the only witness permanently. Loose lips sink ships after all. The stakes are lethal. If the world learns they snatched the Sermon heir, it's total war for House Parton. Suddenly, chaos erupts outside. The Sermon family has arrived, and they're painting the walls with Parton guards. Pharaohs roars for them to leave, but the intruders aren't budging without their young master. Between the explosion and Rayon's week-long disappearance, all roads lead straight back to this corrupt estate. Pharaohs tries to play it cool, feigning total ignorance about the situation. He claims Sans is missing too, proposing a joint search to distract the angry Sermon mob. The visitors aren't buying his lies. Nearby Truno prays for a miracle to stop the bloodshed. Sina steps up, silencing the room and branding Truno a traitor for his past actions. Truno's only alive because Rayon vouched for him. Now he reveals the secret breadcrumbs Rayon left. Rayon left a trail only his family could decode. Sina locks onto the signal and begins the hunt. She finds it. Sans Parton's body is swinging from a branch, a gruesome sight for all. A note calls him a kidnapper, but Sina finds a hidden letter meant only for her eyes. Rayon explains he couldn't stay as Sans. The risk of exposure was too high for a long-term infiltration. If he returned now, the families would clash. House Sermon isn't ready for that kind of smoke yet. He chooses exile to protect them. Sina watches the truth turn to ash as she burns the letter. In a distant town, a mysterious boy is summoned to the guild. The leader wants a word. That boy is Rayon, now known as the legendary Dragon of Drea. 3 months fly by. Rumors of the Parton Sermon feud reach the capital. The kingdom is buzzing with news of the falling houses. The chaos ignited when a Parton House traitor snatched the sole heir of the prestigious Sermon bloodline. Eventually, House Sermon settled for blood money, yet the kidnapper and the young lord remained ghosts in the wind. This spineless surrender made the world mock their claims of being a once legendary martial dynasty. Now they're just a pathetic memory. At the Martin Assassin Guild branch manager, Sapphire coldly watches the fallout. She scoffs, noting that the Sermons crave that settlement gold way more than their missing flesh and blood. Duns gulps down his ale, bringing up the brutal execution of manager Truno like it's casual news. Sapphire explains the rat was feeding info to the traitors, which is why Alejandro had to end him. Even for her, that instant decapitation felt heavy. Alejandro is a swordmaster, a god-tier rarity on the Drea continent, yet he handles the dirty work himself. Ryun walks in, nods to Uncle Duns, and heads straight for Sapphire. She slides over a recommendation for his official guild registration, though one final trial still looms over him. She admits the test is basically a joke for a monster like him pushing the letter his way. Reaching the finale in just 2 months is insane. She can't help but praise his freakish once-in-a-century talent. He tries to play the humble rookie, but Sapphire's sharp eyes see right through his little act. Still, he's less awkward than when he first arrived. 2 months back, Ryun just spawned at their mid-tier guild. He'd slammed a mountain of gold on the counter, demanding a high-stakes hit with zero hesitation. Money talks in this guild, so she treated this mysterious kid like royalty the moment the coins hit. But looking back, she insists it wasn't just the cash. Her killer instincts were screaming that he was special. A kid dressed like a beggar carrying a fortune, truly wild. Then Ryun dropped the bombshell. The target was himself. Pure insanity. Letter in hand, he dips out, claiming he needs some quality time to read it alone. Enter Carl, the masked shadow, questioning if she really bet on this kid based on nothing but a vibe. Sapphire fires back. Ryun mastered years of elite training in 30 days. That's not a vibe, that's an anomaly. She presses Carl for intel. He reports Ryun was raised in the sticks by some nameless legendary master. When the old man vanished, Ryun hunted for clues leading him here. Because his request was so bizarre, the guild scrubbed his history clean before letting him in. Carl even scouted his old mountain shack. The dust and wear confirmed someone had actually lived there for years, just like the kid claimed. One terrifying thought haunts Sapphire. Could this beast actually be Ryun Sermon, the missing loser of the Sermon house? The timing matches perfectly, but Carl shuts it down. He says the odds of that are basically zero. The Sermon heir was a monolith weakling with zero talent and trash stamina. He was a certified failure. No way they're the same person. Carl tries to keep yapping, but Sapphire shuts him up instantly. Stop playing Sherlock, she snaps. Her new mission for him, track down the identity of Ryun's mysterious teacher. Little do they know Ryun is eavesdropping on the whole vibe from his room using forbidden necromancy. Sapphire's sharp, he muses. Checking his status, he grins. The levels he sacrificed for his job change have finally returned. Dumping all that mana into body domination was a total pro-gamer move. Not only did his face change, but his mana signature is invisible now. He's even fooling high-tier detection skills. Suddenly, Kornak, an undead girl with a terrifying skill set, manifests. She's not just a regular summon. She's a growth-type undead. Ryun's stunned by her phantom powers that weren't even in the original description. Peering into the circuit, a hidden quest triggers, one that demands he uncover secret conditions to evolve. The notification flashed after he crushed Archie. Combining Death's Hand and Phantom Circuits gave birth to Kornak. For now, she's just a mana-hungry parasite draining his reserves. A total monster in the making. But he knows she'll be his ultimate trump card. To Ryun, growth isn't about today, it's about dominating the future. Duns breaks his trance. Ryun plays it cool, saying he's just hyped to pass the final guild exam. He jokes about taking Sapphire's job. Duns laughs, admitting with his growth speed he just might. Then comes the catch. 3 candidates enter, but only one walks out as an official guild member. Paula, Rin, and Ryun, all 5th-grade assassins, stand ready. Duns drops the hammer. Let the final trial begin. Duns demands the intel. Rin steps up, revealing their mark. Alok, a veteran merchant with deep pockets. He's never spotted without his elite trio, 2 bronze-tier juggernauts, and a silver-class battle mage. Word on the street says he's obsessed with a new mistress visiting her nightly while his guards grant them privacy. Duns is floored by the intel. Rin didn't just track the target, she found the guard's lethal blind spot. But one doubt plagues Duns. How can they be 100% sure he'll actually show up tonight? Rin blanks, but Duns schools her. Martong pros never leave variables to chance. Detailed intel is everything. He turns to Ryun, demanding his findings. Ryun just scoffs. Do I really have to spill my secrets? He drops a bombshell. Teamwork won't get them both in. This isn't a group project for friends. There's only one slot in the guild. Why would Ryun hand over his winning ticket to rivals? The others seethe, realizing they played their cards way too soon. In this game, they're just competitors. Ryun doesn't even see them as peers. Duns grins now. That is the cold-blooded mindset of a true killer. Focus on the kill. Duns commands. To an assassin, people are just tools to be used or discarded. Silence falls. No objections. With a sharp nod, Duns triggers the final high-stakes assassination trial. They vanish into the night. Duns remembers when the roles were reversed, and Ryun was the prey. 3 days in Peyton. The catch, he had to survive a lethal hunt by professional assassins. They had to officially log him as a special-grade trainee right in the heart of the Peyton branch. The hunters laughed, bragging they'd catch him in 10 minutes. They couldn't have been more wrong. Ryun vanished for 72 hours. By the end, even the veterans were begrudgingly impressed by his lethal traps. Sapphire honored her word, honing Ryun into a weapon. Now Ryun knows this life is a brutal grind. Joining the guild is suicide. Their current target is ranked at a nightmare difficulty level for any rookie. History is being written tonight. Meanwhile, Paula glides through the mansion, ghosting past every high-tech alarm. He weaves through spells and traps, outsmarting the guards. But a sudden realization hits: there are more mercenaries. Rin stays hidden, mentally thanking Paula for the distraction. Little does she know, the target has moved. Surviving 1,000 hits has made the target paranoid. His ultimate hideout, a place no one expects. He hides in his wife's chambers. She's livid, disgusted by his affairs and the chaos he brought home. He snaps back, claiming the room is an impenetrable fortress. "I didn't invite these killers," he yells. Watching from the rafters, Rin prepares to strike. 5 guards stand between her and the final kill. Rin preps for a frontal assault, but inside, chaos erupts. Alok's wife pulls a blade, trembling with rage. She's done being betrayed. He stole family funds for his mistress, and no lie can save him now. That business money bought a mistress's jewels. With a scream, she plunges the knife into his heart. Blood splatters as she breaks down. Rin watches from the shadows, stunned the target is already dead. Is this a win or a loss? Rin's mind races. Where the hell is Ryun? He's nowhere in sight. She reports her failure, but Duns isn't listening. He's staring at Ryan, who's already chilling at the base. Did he even go to the mission? Paula stumbles back next, barely making it out of the mansion alive. Chaos broke the guards' ranks, letting Paula slip away. Then Duns drops a bomb. Mission accomplished. Ryun won. He didn't use a blade. He manipulated the wife's fury to execute the target for him. Duns demands to know how. Ryun looks bored, explaining he just exploited the rift between the couple. He turned domestic drama into a death sentence. The others wonder, did the manager give him secret intel? Special intel, Ryun scoffs. Tracking a high-profile merchant like Alok was child's play for him. Investigating wasn't hard. Everyone knew Alok was a liquor kingpin with a massive wandering eye. While the others were still playing, Detective Ryun was already 5 steps ahead of the entire game. His plan was set before the test even started. He didn't just investigate, he orchestrated the end. Paula is shook. How could he know the target beforehand? Ryun drops a cold, hard truth. He didn't just scout Alok. He'd already profiled every corrupt noble and marked man in the city. He'd been playing the long game, gathering secrets from merchants since the very first day. After finishing training early, he spent 2 months prepping kill plans for every potential target in town. Ryun left nothing to chance. To him, this mission was child's play, like memorizing an entire textbook for a simple quiz. During his reconnaissance, he discovered a bitter truth. Alok's wife, Kelly, harbored a lethal hatred for her husband. Finding her broken by Alok's constant abuse, Ryun approached the desperate woman and whispered a dark way out. He urged her to hire the assassins, fueling her rage over Alok's endless mistresses and his blatant neglect. Alok was even bleeding her family's wealth dry to fund his ventures. Kelly's resentment had finally reached a murderous peak, yet she hesitated to pull the trigger. Ryun manipulated this, claiming extra mercenaries would keep Alok safe, but terrified. He predicted Alok would flee to her room. Ryun had already planted the seed for the final brutal trap. She was instructed to pin the entire assassination attempt on his mistress and her secret lover. Ryun promised this would force Alok back into her arms. In a drunken haze, Kelly swallowed the lie whole. He confesses that her wish for a happy ending might have come true if he'd stopped there. But moments before the chaos erupted, Ryun dropped one last bombshell of information regarding her husband's betrayals. Alok had squandered her entire family fortune under the guise of business. Ryun had rigged the entire test from the start. He masterfully steered the outcome in his favor. Still, Duns can't fathom how a mere civilian overpowered her husband. Ryun reveals the secret weapon. The wine was spiked with a potent alchemical concoction of his own making. To minimize collateral damage, he even drugged the water supply intended for the mercenary guards. The timing was impeccable. The drug stripped away their logic, replacing it with a volatile, explosive rage. Paula finally connects the dots. The guards' frantic infighting was all thanks to Ryun's twisted chemistry. Everything unfolded exactly as he envisioned. The toxic mix of betrayal and drugs pushed Kelly over the edge. Blinded by fury, Kelly slaughtered Alok herself. Duns has no choice but to acknowledge Ryun's absolute victory. Ryun coolly mentions that a massive bonus is coming his way from the newly minted murderess. Since Kelly turned killer, Ryun holds all the cards. Only the guild knows she struck the fatal blow. She'll bleed money to keep her crimes buried. for her silence is the only thing worth buying now. The spectators are speechless. Ryun's ruthless efficiency and surgical precision are on a completely different level. After dismissing the others, Duns corners Ryun. He demands an explanation for the psychological wreckage left behind. He warns that Kelly is now condemned to a lifetime of soul-crushing guilt. Duns sees a chilling disconnect. He reminds Ryun that they train lethal assassins, not heartless monsters. Ryun's response remains unnervingly calm. He admits he once saw her as a victim, until he uncovered her history of murdering Alok's mistresses. Alok was a parasite who destroyed families through narcotics, predatory loans, and illegal gambling rings. Kelly used her family's immense influence to wash the blood from her hands. Alok was simply done with her, yet he kept bringing women home, knowing full well each one was walking toward a death sentence. Grieving families still search for their lost daughters, while Kelly's status keeps her sins perfectly hidden. Such dark secrets usually stay buried, especially in a routine assassination test case like this one. Regardless of her internal conflict, the guild only gets paid if the target ends up 6 feet under. Ryun scoffs at the idea of caring about a client's feelings. In their world, only results matter. Empathy doesn't pay the bills. They are professional killers, and money is the only language they speak. Kelly never explicitly refused to kill him herself. She simply tried to outsource the dirty work to them. The contract was fulfilled. Whether she rots in her own guilt for eternity isn't his concern. Her personal torment is irrelevant to the mission. Duns questions if a conscience is just a liability. Ryun retorts that, if they want to keep their humanity, they need to seize true power first. They must strike at the roots of society to change anything. Morality is a luxury they can't afford. Seeking a conscience while taking lives changes nothing. With that cold truth, Ryun turns and walks away. Sapphire praises him for crushing the trial, officially welcoming him as a grade 5 assassin of the guild. His stats surge immediately. The system pings confirming he's earned the profound respect of Philip and Paula. Even Duns is watching him now. Sapphire explains that high-tier official guild missions are finally within his reach. He's now eligible for further promotions, though she never expected him to climb the ranks so aggressively. He shuts her down mid-sentence, rattling off every requirement for promotion. Without missing a beat, he demands to know the total bounty earned from the high-rank mission. Sapphire feels the walls closing in, confessing that the down payment and completion bonus both totaled 10 gold each. Plus, Kelly paid 10 gold for their silence regarding the kill. Even for a trial, he argues that he secured the bag by finishing the job himself. Since the goal is 30 gold, from a single hit, he has officially cleared the hurdle. The system promptly offers a path toward becoming a 4th-grade assassin. Sapphire warns him not to get cocky or underestimate the guild, as their laws are absolute. In the underworld, you are only a true professional once you hit rank 4. Honestly, she is just salty about his zero-respect attitude toward his seniors. He tries to play it cool, but doubles down on his choice to pursue the promotion immediately. Just as she blows a fuse, Dunn steps in, confirming Ryun is indeed ready for the next level. This is not about ego, but the raw physical prowess he showcased. He did not hide behind complex schemes, instead relying on pure bodily mastery. As a killer, he crushed the objective through sheer tactical brilliance. Plus, this serves as a perfect chance to test his limits or humble him for good. Sapphire recalls the earlier training game, noting it was all traps. She finally caves, warning that this test means risking everything. He does not flinch and accepts. Later, under the cover of night, the trio gathers with Duns, who reveals the next trial will not happen for another month or 2. He offers to train him, but Ryun passes, claiming he just needs some shut-eye. He announces he is taking a break from the guild. As a full member, he has that freedom. He promises to return before the exam after checking in at the Martin branch. They drink until the vibe is right. Ryun knows his vacation time is ticking away, because rank 4 assassins are constantly on call. With a branch leader as the target, he will not even have time for a nap later, so he is dipping out while he can. He reaches the Dark Zone, the land of the dead. Suddenly, a noble envoy spots him, demanding to know his business. Ryun fakes a limp, claiming his leg is totally trashed. He begs for a lift to the village to avoid dying in the dirt. The noble sneers, claiming he would kill him if he were not in such a rush, though Ryun smells the cap. He keeps pleading for a ride, and Kennel receives orders from inside the coach to let the child in. Kennel scoffs, tossing him onto his own horse instead. During the ride, Kennel grills him. The noble says he owes his life to the lady, inside calling it a miracle encounter. But Ryun knows luck had nothing to do with it. The girl is Rose, a true blood relative of the fallen Rose family. He already scouted the route and timed his appearance with their procession perfectly. After living low in Feinstein borders, he watched the Rose family legacy burn to ash, forcing her into exile. He realizes these guards are just low-level border nobodies, not elite knights. They are just glorified private soldiers, playing dress-up with titles. His intel suggests the Sermon family pulled the strings behind the Rose family collapse. The guards wonder why the sermons are involved. Another whispers that the snakes murdered the family head to bury their dirty secrets. Ryun's heart stops at the news. They take a breather later. Ryun realizes the Rose family fall was collateral damage from the war between the Sermon and Parton houses. Darren belongs to Sermon, while Parton claims Feinstein, the oldest Rose son, had swapped sides, becoming a Sermon knight and sparking the fuse for their entire family destruction. A grim death in the Dark Zone left the Rose family mourning, while the Sermon house honored their sacrifice. Greed ignited as a rival clan backed the Sermon family's suspicious play with massive financial aid. Chaos peaked when the Rose patriarch was slaughtered, amidst whispers of a secret shadow alliance. Rumors claimed Sermon was scrubbing the blood off their hands by silencing their own shadow agents forever. The Roses blamed the rising Parton house, but their desperate pleas fell on deaf ears. Parton was too powerful to touch. Stripped of leadership, the Rose family's influence shattered instantly. Now they're being cast out toward Darren, a fallen house with only a few loyal souls remaining. As Lady Rose rests, her weary knights keep a frantic watch under the cold moonlight. Around the fire, Kenil rants about the evil Parton and Ani families, praising Sermon's fake generosity. The guards eat it up, unaware that Ryun is quietly listening while finishing his meal. One guard smirks at him, thinking the heavy politics are just over the kid's head. But Ryun isn't clueless. He drops a truth bomb that chills the air around the campfire. He asks why elite knights are spilling secrets to a random brat during a high-stakes exile mission. They laugh it off, focusing instead on the tragedy of their suffering lady. It's clear these rookies, especially Kenil, have no idea how deep this rabbit hole goes, especially concerning the Ani family, led by a man whose lust is only matched by his cruelty. Ryun remembers the hit list. He'd personally turned down countless contracts to end that man's life. The pay was trash compared to the risk. That paranoid creep is a fortress of security. If a predator like that is hunting them, camping here is suicide. Suddenly, Ryun senses movement. A shadow moves through the canopy. They're being tracked. To stay hidden, Ryun avoids a direct strike. He vanishes into the darkness, weaving a web of lethal traps to stall the hunters. He returns to camp, looking like he crawled out of a grave, confusing the hell out of the guards. He stays silent. His hidden triggers are set. He's bought them a fleeting moment of peace. Clutching the intel he scavenged from the Roses, he retreats to his tent for one last rest. He plans to ghost them by sunrise. But morning brings them to the gates of Dasam village. Kenil eyes the boy, wondering what a child could possibly want in a border town like this. Ryun plays the part lying through his teeth about being a low-level monster parts trader. As he turns to leave, Kenil stops him, pressing a rare healing potion into his hand. Lady Rose's orders, the knight says. Ryun stares at the gift as the caravan rolls away. He downs the liquid instantly. Seconds later, the ground shakes as a cavalry unit blurs past him. It's them. Mercenaries, mages, and the ruthless Garuta Ani leading the charge. They ignore the peasant boy entirely, focused only on their prey. Yet Ryun is impressed. They tore through his traps way faster than he expected. These guys aren't amateurs. He examines the empty vial. It's high grade, worth a fortune on the black market. Why would a doomed noble give away her last lifeline to a total stranger? He knows Garuda will catch her eventually. He should walk away. He really should. But that expensive potion tastes like a debt that needs to be settled. With a sigh, his magic circles flare to life. Cornac, wake up. We've got work to do. Deep in the woods, Kenil's instincts scream. Something is closing in, and it's fast. He bellows for the caravan to push forward, forcing the lady into the center of the formation. The air grows heavy with mana. Elite pursuers are breathing down their necks. He issues a final desperate command: if things get ugly, save the lady at any cost. Steel singing from its sheath, Kenil turns back to face the storm alone. He's outclassed, and he knows it. The Ani Knights are monsters in human skin. At the narrow pass, the pursuit party halts. One lone knight stands between them and their prize. He screams for them to retreat, but his blood runs cold as Garuta Ani pulls back his hood, unmasking the very threat he dreaded. His comrades hiss that exposing his face is pure madness, yet Garuta brushes them off with cold indifference. The order is simple: slaughter everyone but Saintine. Without a second's delay, he commands his hounds to seize the girl before the border is crossed. Mercenaries lunge forward like starving wolves. Kenil moves to intercept, but a mage's explosive spell sends him flying. He hits the dirt, mangled and gasping. As Kenil claws his way back up, Garuda reveals his trump card, his own personal knight. The betrayal cuts deep. It's Ciso Kenil's old Rose Knight captain, now a puppet bought by Garuda's gold. Ciso strikes instantly. With a few overwhelming blows, he sends Kenil's blade spinning into the darkness. He sneers, urging Kenil to dump the roses for a better master, but Kenil's loyalty remains unshakable. He'd rather embrace death. Fed up, Garuda signals the execution. Ciso raises his blade for the killing stroke, but an emerald flame erupts from the shadows, slamming into Ciso's back as Cornac arrives to turn the tide. She unleashes a barrage of magic that incinerates Ciso instantly. though a mage's barrier barely saves Garuda's life. Near the border, hell breaks loose as the Rose family's transport is reduced to splintered wreckage. Just two battered knights stand as the final shield for Lady Rose, ready to die for her. As the Ani mercenaries laugh at their pathetic struggle, Lady Rose calmly emerges from the ruined carriage. With icy resolve, she commands her men to stand down before pressing a blade against her own throat. She offers herself as their prize, but warns that if her men aren't spared, she'll end her own life right there. Her bluff challenges their orders, yet she's met with a reaction she never expected. The mercenary spits that until she reaches Aaron, she's just a worthless girl, not a noble. In a blur of speed, a mercenary teleports behind her and rips the dagger from her grasp. He prepares to teach her a lethal lesson about mana users. Desperate, a Rose Knight lunges to save her. Before the knight can move, Rayon flashes into existence, burying a devastating kick right in the mercenary's jaw. The other mercenary freezes, his mind racing as he tries to process this sudden lethal interloper. Rayon announces he's a Martin assassin, fueled by a down payment of nothing but soup and a potion. Seeing a glimmer of hope, Lady Rose acts fast, offering 30 gold to wipe out the remaining threats. Rayon scoffs. 30 gold only covers the first head. He doesn't work for pennies. After all, House Ani's second son, their commander and a mage, are still breathing. Lady Rose realizes that without his blade, her exile mission and her life end here. To save her house, she desperately agrees to his price, and Rayon gives a predatory grin. He vanishes into the air, diving at the mercenary who's still wondering if this kid is the real deal. Rayon gathers his power, and with one brutal stroke cleaves through the first mercenary. Precision is his middle name. Feeling untouchable, he even drops his mask to reveal who he truly is. Rayon's legend at Martin begins today, and the cost of his help, everything she owns. But the downed mercenary isn't dead yet. He staggers up with a crazed laugh, refusing to stay down. Before Rayon can blink, the bleeding mercenary swings his blade in a desperate counterstrike. Rayon dances away effortlessly, teaching them the hard way that you never turn your back on a Martin. The duo snaps into action, using a high-level switching style to swarm Rayon from both sides. Rayon pushes his body to the limit, accelerating until he's just a blur flickering around them. Trapped in a whirlwind of speed, the mercenaries swing at shadows, convinced they're fighting phantoms. They hunker down, eyes darting, waiting for a single opening to launch a combined strike. Too late. Rayon reappears in their faces, revealing the lethal traps he's already set on their bodies. Hidden curses flare up, draining their strength before Rayon carves them open with a final bloody flourish. Dawn breaks over the carnage as the survivors band together to patch wounds and fix the carriage. Kennel limps onto the scene, his first breath spent frantically checking if anyone else was lost. Lady Rose breaks down in tears of pure relief, while Rayon watches silently, knowing he's the true savior. The guards gaped, asking if Kennel handled the horde alone, but he admits a mage saved his life. Out of thin air, a mysterious ally materializes. With this sudden intervention, they seize Garuda and crush the traitorous knight's rebellion. Mid-conversation, the sorceress Korna descends, answering Ryun's arcane signal. She tosses a bloodied, broken Garuda to the dirt like common trash. Gazing through the shimmering mana, Kennel recognizes Ryun as the boy he saved. But then the cold truth hits him like a freight train. Lady Rose drops a bombshell. He is a professional assassin from Martin. Suddenly, Kennel understands how the battlefield was cleared so effortlessly. While Kennel struggled, this shadow was doing the heavy lifting. Knowing Ryun's origins, a desperate Garuda scrambles to negotiate for his life. He pleads to buy his freedom for triple the price, betting that a mercenary cares more about gold than a target's life. But Ryun has had enough. With one cold gesture, he slices Garuda into 2 pieces, silencing the loudmouth for good. He has zero patience for noise. This brutal display serves as a chilling warning to Lady Rose about their future arrangement. This is what happens when you try to stiff the bill. Shaking with fear, the lady complies as Ryun eyes his prize. He is not greedy enough to bleed them dry today. Instead, he demands a binding verbal oath to seal their secret pact. This deal stays off the books. With the contract finalized, he urges the group to push forward toward their final destination. Do not worry about the mess. The guild will sweep up these bodies. As Ryun turns to depart, a stunned Kennel calls out. Awed by such savage efficiency, Kennel shouts his name. Ryun just flashes a wink, snaps his fingers, and glitches out of reality. The guards stand frozen in disbelief. But Kennel is haunted by a different realization about this self-proclaimed killer. That summon was not some mindless zombie. It possessed a human voice, and even worse, it wiped out Kiso and the wizard in one shot. Witnessing this, Kennel realizes only a monster could control this beast. He suddenly suspects that Rian is actually the elite apprentice of the mythic death mage Veda.